Hey everyone, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. So happy to be here as always. It's Thursday afternoon. Where else would I be? Excited about this recipe. If you're new to the stream, what we do is we hang out for about an hour. I cook a recipe start to finish. It's the first time I've ever made this recipe. I came up with the idea a few hours ago. So I like when you chat, you play along, let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and we'll sort of write the recipe together. Today I'm doing a jerk meatball melt. The reason I thought of this recipe is a bunch of reasons. One, I was watching that show Chef on the Chef show on Netflix, the Jon Favreau show, and they were making like some meatball subs, and I was just like, I need to make meatballs right away. But the other reason is I've had so much really good jerk chicken lately that I've been meaning to kind of make some for my own. There's a place, Ava's Caribbean Kitchen here in Columbus, and also the Parker Brothers barbecue that I've been obsessed with. They're mostly from Cleveland, but they have a food truck. They came down here a few weekends ago, and it was so good. So anyways, with that being said, welcome, and let's get started. Great. So I have the meat here, and this is like a half pound of beef and a half pound of chicken. And I'm going to put an egg into this. And I'm basically just going to put all the ingredients of like what would be a jerk chicken marinade into this, but keeping it less liquidy, right, obviously. So I have some habaneros here. I mean, technically you probably should use a Scotch bonnet pepper, but I'm using, what I could get. And habaneros and Scotch bonnets are really pretty similar. So the way I usually cut almost any pepper actually is like I just cut all the cheeks off, and that's like a shortcut way to basically like get rid of the seeds and stuff. I forgot to get my little garbage bowl out, so let me put that right here. And I don't know, I think I'm gonna do like just 2 of these. And leaving the seeds out is gonna definitely make it a little more mild. But I don't need to be choking on fire today, especially on the stream. And now I'm just gonna cut these into strips and then dice. And if you've never worked with habaneros before, you definitely want to use gloves for this. I've been working with habaneros my whole life, and not my whole life. I don't know, the past 10 years or so, and I'm comfortable with the whole thing. And I also like, I make sure to only be touching it with like a few fingers. That way I know my right hand is fine. And, maybe I'll lick my fingers later and remember what a great meal I made. Yeah, exactly. You don't just remember like the one hand that you used, and don't use it for anything for the rest of the evening. Welcome, by the way, Dr. Thunder. Thanks for coming, as always. That's pretty good. Actually, you know what? In meatballs, the ingredients don't really get cooked much. So I do want to make this pretty fine. Ooh, it's like burning my nose already. These must be good ones today. I think that's actually, I'm going to leave some of these to the side. I think they're extra spicy today. And then I have 2 scallions. And I just got rid of some of the extra parts of the scallions earlier. And just like everything else, I'm just cutting them into long strips and then dicing them up. Because you want everything in these meatballs to be pretty fine. You could also do this part in a food processor, which I debated, but I don't really love using food processor or blender on the stream. It's just another like annoying thing that I have to deal with, and it's loud. Like, let's just chill on a Thursday afternoon, right? We don't need those loud machinery like messing with our nice time, you know? I don't want to blow out you guys' eardrums either. And this jerk chicken recipe I actually grabbed from Food and Wine. And it's like one of their most popular recipes ever. And it's written by a chef named Paul Chung, who spent most of his life in Jamaica. So he sounds like he knows what he's doing. You know, I always, when I'm grabbing recipes like this, I always like try to see who wrote the recipe and make sure that I'm getting it from someone who kind of knows what they're doing specifically. And then also give them credit for it as well. I'm actually going to do the nutmeg before the garlic because I want the grater to be dry when I'm doing the nutmeg, and it's going to get wet from the garlic. And I'm going to put a lot of nutmeg in here. I put like half of the nut, the nutmeg nut in. I would describe that as maybe like a quarter or a half of a teaspoon. And then I have 2 cloves of garlic here. I say this on the stream all the time, but I love garlic, but when I'm using it raw, I like to be careful. And you may think, well, it's not raw, it's in a meatball. But again, like I said earlier, in a meatball, like the ingredients don't get cooked that much. So it kind of acts like raw garlic in a meatball sometimes. In my opinion. All right, so what else do we have? Let me rinse my hands real quick. I'm gonna add the salt now. I have black pepper, good amount of this as well. What's up, Deepak? Welcome. How you doing? Then I have 5 spice, allspice, and thyme. I feel like thyme, allspice, and habanero are the true, like, 3 things that really come together to make jerk taste like jerk. I got a thing out because I like promised I was going to measure today, but the the desire just to dump spices in took over. I'm doing well. We're doing a jerk meatball melt today. So this is the meatball portion. I'm just adding all the spices that would be in a jerk sort of marinade into the meatballs. Healthy amount of time here. And finally, we're going to do a little soy sauce and panko breadcrumbs. So those spices were actually allspice and 5-spice. So if I was making Italian meatballs, I would put probably milk and breadcrumbs. Soy sauce is actually one of the ingredients of jerk. So the soy sauce is going to give the liquid that the breadcrumbs need to function in there. The breadcrumbs also do a great job of basically, as the meat cooks, the fat comes out, and instead of going onto the pan, it goes into the breadcrumbs. So that's why when you see these like fancy meatballs and they're like, we don't use any filler, it's like, well, it's probably not going to be as good because the breadcrumbs are actually like a key ingredient of keeping them nice and juicy. I will use my hands in a minute, but I like to start with the fork just to get things going a little bit. And it smells great. You really can smell the 5-spice in there, which I had not put in jerk before, but I was planning to follow this recipe and see how it went, you know. It's nice. It smells really good. The recipe is written as basically a marinade. This has both chicken and beef in it. Equal parts. I always like to put more than one meat into a meatball. And because this was inspired by like jerk chicken, that's why I did half chicken, half beef. And I'm going to broil these. I've always broiled meatballs. That's the way my mom always did it. Italian sort of family classic thing. And they broiled them on the show that I was talking about. So, and it was like a very traditional Italian restaurant as well. Just giving it a little last mix here. And because I always make meatballs kind of small. I don't know what you think, if this is like small or not to you. But that's the size I do. And I think I'm gonna cut them in half for this sandwich. So like we'll cook them this size and then we'll cut them for the sandwich. It's not deep fried. It's just going to be under the broiler. So like basically grilled, but in your oven instead, where the heat comes from above instead of below. Now I'm just going to hang while I make some meatballs. But yeah, it's funny because the fragrance of the 5-spice is coming through these the most, but I know that is just where the smell is coming from. It's not really like gonna take over flavor wise. There's something about that star anise that kind of overpowers smells. Really nice. Man, I watched that show last night and I was just like craving meatballs and like I need I need to make some sort of meatballs on the stream tomorrow. Tell me what the recipe is that you know. What is it called? I haven't even heard of Taco Week. I was telling Gina that we need to be on more of these like websites. I've read a few websites, but I didn't see about Taco Week. Who was participating? Yeah, we were like walking around in German Village a few weeks ago, and they were having like a big, basically tag sale in the whole town, in the whole like neighborhood. I was like, this would have been nice to know about beforehand. That's cool. No, we haven't been to any. Oh, nice. I'll definitely have to look up that recipe and check it out. I love cooking Indian food. I've made several. I've made a ton of things actually. And now I know where to get a lot more ingredients around here, so I can really start exploring different flavors. Fried, yeah. You know, a lot of people fry their meatballs, even in Italian food or any type of food. I've seen plenty of recipes for fried meatballs. It gives it a nice crusty exterior. That might have seemed like a weird placement for that last meatball, but I don't like to put stuff on top of the label there, because then it can like get stuck. I don't know why they insist on putting these labels on these things. Great, so this is going to go into the broiler, and then we're going to make the plantains. And that oven is hot. Guys, don't let me forget the meatballs, because I will burn them. I'm known for that. Burning anything that's in the broiler. In the broiler, that's going to take about 6 minutes per side. So we're going to take them out and flip them. And it's going to be nice and brown on top. But while those are going, we're going to do the plantains here that are also going to go in the sandwich. All right, so if you're looking to make, I want these to be like sweet plantains, they'll be nice and brown on the outside and soft, very soft. So if you're looking to do that, you definitely want to look for this super blackened plantain. The ones that still have like mostly green or mostly yellow, it's not going to be soft enough when you cook them. It's too starchy still. So make sure you grab like these nice sort of blackened ones. That's going to help you a lot. That's the number one important thing when you're working with plantains. So like if you were doing tostones, you want to do the more like green ones. And those are awesome too. But for this recipe, yes, I'm looking for sweeter to go with those super spiced meatballs. And I want them to be soft too. Soft when you're taking a bite of the sandwich. And I just have some oil right here. I'm going to slide that over so you can see in a minute. It's heating, it's warming up. And the meatballs are getting there too. So we're gonna do like these side cuts, kind of. Slippery. See, like on a bias, as they say. And the thing about a plantain is it's curved, so you have to keep like spinning it a little bit to keep doing the bias cut. Man, meatballs are smelling good. This oil is not quite there yet. So I'm going to pay more attention to the meatballs, and then after we flip them, then I'm going to drop these plantains in. I got some really nice, like soft, sweet Cuban rolls to put this sandwich on, so I'm really excited for that as well. It is kind of a nice sweet sandwich in a way with all these different sweet ingredients, but because of jerk chicken is like so savory, and that combined with cheese, I was thinking like the sweetness would be nice with it. I don't know what kind of oven everyone has, but like with a electric oven, you actually want to leave the door open while you're broiling stuff, because otherwise it can get too hot and the broiler will shut itself off. So these are looking good already. I have a spatula here. You don't need oil when you're cooking these because there's like enough oil in the meatballs. But they do, like, it's not like they're stuck, but they're definitely kind of attached to the pan, if that makes sense. So I like to loosen them off first and then flip them all. You can use tongs for this if you want. I'm like a very hands-on type of cook myself. Great. So these are gonna finish, and they just need like 5 more minutes. This just has like a very thin layer of oil on it. And you don't hear them like overly sizzling right off the bat because we don't want it to be like crazy hot. Otherwise they'll brown too quickly and not get sort of soft and cooked on the inside. I'm just gonna grab one of these rolls now. Fresh from the bakery. I got the bread at that same grocery store that we talked about last time. So I can't, like, you probably know the name better than me. I keep forgetting the name. Sagara? Sakara? No. Anyways, they have like a South American bakery right in that grocery store, and they have like all these really nice sweets and stuff. But more importantly, great piece of bread like that. Sagara. I was worried for a minute. It seemed like they weren't open, but you just had to ring the bell, and then they come over to the counter because they were busy making a bunch more bread. Yeah, this is gonna be a good sandwich here. That's good bread. So like pillowy. Pillowy is like the funniest food word because like we all want it. It sounds great, right? But it's like such an odd thing. Like who was the first person to be like pillow? Pillows is a great way to describe food. Exactly right. I even the first time I went there, I didn't even really like go to the bakery because it seemed like I wasn't sure what was going on over there. But this time I caught this bread and I was like, I need this. Perfect. Meatball's almost done. These are going. We're looking pretty good here. These are still a little starchy. They could be would be better if they were even more blackened, honestly. But it's fine. They're gonna be tasty. Perfect time to have a sip of beer. Beautiful looking meatballs. And finally turn the broiler off. Oh, I know, right? Well, Rich, my friend Rich, he's on an airplane. Some other people, people have work to do. It is uh, official work hours, right? Whatever that means. And Gina's pretty busy at work as well. Um, so this is awesome. Highly recommend jerk meatballs. Right? I mean, they usually are working while they're watching too, but sometimes you can't. So these are nice, but they're also nice and spicy, which is great. Hey, Susan, thanks for coming. Oh, you know, we all have work to do sometimes. We were literally just talking about that. So, can't always drop everything on a Thursday afternoon. Great. Oh, hey, Gina. There we go. Getting some color on these. Move some over here. Great. So, I'm going to put cheese on this, right? If you want to have a melt, you need some cheese. This is actually the same cheese I used last week. It's like called Chihuahua cheese. It's like a Mexican melting cheese. I thought it would be perfect for this. And this looks like so much bread ratio, but with a sandwich like this, bread is airy and fluffy. With a sandwich like this, we're basically going to press it, and it's going to end up being a great ratio. So I just have a little bit of barbecue sauce. Normally it'd probably be more soy sauce based, but I was thinking with the Parker Brothers that I was talking about earlier, the really nice jerk chicken that I had did have more of like a barbecue sauce on it. So that's kind of like what I was being inspired by. I'm going to go real light on this. And this is that Tabasco barbecue sauce that I had last week as well. And they actually make a jerk barbecue sauce. But I didn't want to use that one because I wanted to make sure that we are tasting we did all that work to like make our own jerk seasoning. So I didn't want to be unsure of like what was our own jerk seasoning or what was like the barbecue sauce jerk seasoning. If that makes sense. But I am also going to add the soy sauce as well. Just a very little drizzle. And then we're going to take these meatballs and put them, I guess, face down evenly throughout the sandwich here. Perfect. These are like just about ready. And I don't want like all the oil from this to go into the sandwich, so I'm gonna put them onto the towel first for just like a minute. And we also don't need all this oil, so I'm just gonna put it on a pan to get it out of the way. All right, so building this up with the plantains. I think this is probably enough actually. Great. I'm like, this looks so good. It's crazy. Finally, a little bit of cheese on top. And we're going to do the melt portion of this melt. Great. But you know what I think we need is some butter. Guys, things are finally happening for us. Can you believe it? I guess I could get a weight or something for this. So I want to see how these plantains, they're a little starchy, but with all the cheese and sauce and stuff, they're going to be fine right in there. It's more like putting a French fry into your sandwich than what I was originally thinking. Oh, they're good. Nice and sweet. Crispy. Ooh, almost lost some there. Good news, Gina. You're here and you can try it. It's a nice big sandwich too. We're really just pressing this into the pan to make it nice and thin and crispy. And I do have like a cover. It doesn't match, but the cover will help the stuff inside melt. You know, one nice thing about putting hot ingredients in here is that's also going to help the cheese melt sooner. All the bread, yes. That's unfortunate. Well, I'm glad that you've been here so long. I always wanted to go to that store, and I'm finally pushing you to actually go. So that's good. I've accomplished one thing. Nice and even. Georgina hopping platforms. Love it. Love to see it. Just a few more minutes. But putting the plantains, like I said, is kind of like a version of French fries, which is fun because French fries are always good on a sandwich. Underrated sandwich item. So I'm glad that these plantains were just like right on the line of where they'd be like super soft and sweet, or more of like a a starchy item. They had them all lined up at the store, like super green. It looked like a sort of like gradients of colors to getting to the brown. But last time I went, they had very blackened ones. Today they weren't. Nice and crispy. I think the barbecue sauce is gonna go so well with those meatballs that were already like juicy and so good. But that's the difference of the jerk chicken I've had lately. It has more of like a sauce on it. In the past, when I've had it, it's been more of like a dry rub. So that's, I think, why I've been more obsessed with it lately. Because like the sauce on it is so good. So you've been trying all the $2. Where's the best $2 tacos in town? I think we've only had Coronado for tacos, which are good. It's more like Taco Bell though, honestly, which I mean I'm happy with. But when I had heard about it, I was expecting more of like a upscale taco. Yabos, got to keep that keep Yabos on the list. I've never even heard of Yabos. It is our takeout night though. Hear that? Man, that looks good. Taco week link, great. This is gonna burn my face off if I try to eat it. I just need a minute. Do. You know, all this stuff comes together. Such a great little combo. That little bit of barbecue sauce and soy sauce. Just a touch. Just what the whole sandwich needs to like add juiciness and round everything out. So good. Sorry, Susan, I had to finish chewing before I could explain how good it was. Yeah, I mean, everything really works so well in here. The bread is absolutely like that Cuban sandwich bread. It came out so crispy. Perfect for this sandwich. Plantains add some sweetness, some starchiness. The cheese is just so creamy, so melty, and those super spiced meatballs are just so nice in here. It's got the heat that you love, but it's very well balanced. Really great sandwich. I know what you guys want. Hold on. Is that what you want? There you go. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in one more week. One more week. I don't know why I said that. Thanks everyone for tuning in again. Had a great time as always. And I can't wait to see you all next week for another great recipe. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for hanging out.